Good afternoon and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care and Providence Holy Cross Medical Center. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, co-owner
Carl Goldman.
on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And our guest today is Bill Miranda, the mayor of Santa Clarita. Welcome, sir. It's so
Thank
good to
you.
have you. I've
Thank
seen you
you.
twice in less than 24 hours.
People are going to say we're dating.
Yeah. And I never see you other than on the TV screen.
Yeah, you were fighting the fires.
Before we get started, if I may, I got to give a shout out to Comfort Keepers. Miles McNamara and his organization, absolutely outstanding. They treated my 101-year-old mother-in-law for 18 months. She lived through 102. Wow. Thanks to them also. The service they provided was absolutely outstanding.
Yes.
I recommend them highly, 5 stars and all the stuff. I know I'm not being paid for this commercial, but I have to tell you, if you're a senior out there or you are responsible for a senior out there and you need help, Comfort Keepers is absolutely the first call you should make. That's all I'm going to say. Hallelujah.
Yes, I used them for my husband when he needed the care.
Well, Miles McNamara and his team are great. I can certainly vouch for that myself as well. You've been all around town, and of course with the fires, national exposure as well. I know I'll ask for your autograph before we leave. But the other day you were at a meeting and you rattled off all the accomplishments the city was about to do or has recently done. And so we wanted you to come back here and share that with everybody and just tell how wonderful the things are that are in store for us.
We have some incredible projects. They're very major projects in the sense that they're huge. I'll start just with the biggest one of them all, is a project behind what used to be the Saga Speedway, and the project is called Sunridge. Now, think about this. The Sunridge area used to be a munitions dump, if you will.
Yes, that's right.
It took 20-some, excuse me, it took 20-some years to clean it up, and it got cleaned up, and went through a number of lawsuits, whatever, got cleared, and a wonderful company bought it, and this area is now called Sunridge. It is 996 acres. Now, to put that in perspective, Central Park in New York City and Manhattan is 880 acres, and we all know all the stuff that's in Central Park. Mm-hmm. And so we're looking at that property that's huge, and we're looking to put 6,500 homes, single-family homes, and some multi-family homes, condos, townhouses, etc. But it's going to be beautiful. Think in terms of if anyone has ever been to Playa Vista in Playa del Rey, near the ocean in Los Angeles, right by Marina del Rey. That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful development. We're going to build something very similar to that. It's going to include, the city owns part of the property, and on the city portion of the property, we're going to include a wonderful advanced sports park. So that's going to be part of that. And I know seniors are thinking, well, what's in it for me? Well, if you play pickleball, we're going to have some pickleball courts there, okay? And we're also going to have, hopefully, it's part of the original plan, let's hope it stays here, an amphitheater. Okay, an amphitheater where all of us can go and listen to top-notch entertainment. So an amphitheater of what we're thinking about might be 3,000 seats. Well, at 3,000 seats, you can get some original acts in there. Okay, you don't
Big
have to
name
have.
acts.
Yeah, you don't have to have tribute bands. Nothing wrong with tribute bands. A lot of them are fantastic.
And to put it in perspective, COC has a little under 1,000 seats, I believe. So
880.
yeah, 880. So it'd be
Yeah.
over 3 times the amount.
Exactly. So we're planning a theater like that. We're also going to have, for the younger people, we're also going to have a surf stream boat ride or whatever you want to call it, surf down the river. It would be a very short river, probably 100 yards.
That's
but,
all right.
But still, it'll be part
It'll
of
work.
that project. It will be, the roads will connect. It'll be right by the Metrolink station, so easy in and out access to our community. And you know, when we say Metrolink station, I should hesitate to say in and out because we have 4 Metrolink stations in our city. So literally, you could go from the Vista Canyon Metrolink station, which is in the far end of Canyon Country, to the Newhall station, which is right down the street from where we're sitting right now, and have Metrolink take you there. And if you're a senior, you get a fantastic rate that takes you clear across the city.
Which
So,
is tremendous.
Yeah.
And it's the old Burmite project property that you're
Right, the
talking
old Whitaker
about.
Burmite
And
property.
where during
Now,
World
what-
War II they made munitions there, and
Oh,
and
yes.
back in those days, Barbara, you know, you got rid of toxic waste by doing 3 things: the 3 B's. You either burnt it, buried it, or blew it up. Right?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I remember.
But they've
I
cleaned that all up
remember.
now, and so when would the actual groundbreaking take place on this?
Well, we are awaiting their. They gave us a preliminary master plan, and that's where I'm giving you the information. But we're awaiting their final master plan, which should come mid-year to third quarter of this year. Once they give us that plan, and by the way, they are working with us to develop the plan, so therefore I can't see any real reasons to not approve the
good.
plan. Once they do that, then they'll probably break ground in the spring of next year, and so it's a huge development. It may take 10, 15, as much as 20 years to get it all built out. But we have to think of the future.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, now, what's happening? Do you know what's happening with the Speedway property?
Yeah, the Speedway property.
I mean, that's sitting there, blank, empty.
Yes, there's a project that has been approved for some housing and some commercial, and they should. I'm pretty sure it's already been approved by everybody. They should start breaking ground sometime before the summer, I would guess.
Interesting. So that's going to be a busy area eventually, isn't it?
Yes. Well, the state.
Won't be around to see it finished.
Yeah. Neither will I. But the state pretty much has mandated building of housing around transportation. It's very important. The state has mandated that. Why? Because they want to get rid of car traffic as much as possible, and
That makes
so
sense.
so with that Metrolink station right there, we're going to build as much as we can right around it.
Oh, that's good. Wow.
We're chatting with Mayor Bill Miranda here on KHTS FM 98.1 AM 1220, your hometown station. It's the senior hour. Barbara Cochran, Carl Goldman with you. And Mayor Bill, maybe you can share with us some of the other projects that you're talking about.
Okay.
We're getting ready already, mapping out our Home and Garden Show, which takes place every year in April over at Central Park. And they've been doing a major construction project right there on the stairs of Central Park. Why don't you share that?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of years ago, we approved the development of 20 more acres of Central Park on the south end. And in those 20 acres, we added parking for around 250 cars, which was needed. We added restrooms on that end, which was needed. We added some basketball courts, some pickleball courts, and we added this wonderful thing called the stair climb. And don't ask me how many steps there are to climb, because I've only gotten halfway up and I got tired and I came back down. That's the kind of guy I am. But it's been used very enthusiastically by people a lot younger than me to get some exercise and to have some fun and to get a great view at the top, which I still haven't seen and probably will never see because I'm not going up to the top. But I understand it's a great view from the top and it's a great exercise for younger people. Then we decided to decorate it with some lights to make it stand out. So everything the city of Santa Clarita does, and I say this unabashedly, shamelessly, everything we do is first class. Everything we build, every park, and I'm going to get into parks in a little while, but every park we build is first class. Every community center we have is first class.
That's very true.
The
Very
senior
true.
center, which we didn't build by ourselves, but we certainly helped build, is first class. Right, so we decided that, wow, everybody loves the stairs, let's make the stairs first class and put some lights up and down the stairs. And then people said, well, up and down the stairs is nice, but wouldn't it be great if the lights came all the way down to the bottom and a little bit? And so we expanded that, and we're in the process of finishing that. And that whole project would have been fully completed by now, but there was a hiccup along the way by one of our contractors, and so got delayed a little bit. But it's pretty much done.
So how many stairs are there?
I told you not to ask me that. I don't
Barbara,
know.
you and I can
don't
go there
know.
and count them together. Okay?
Yes, there you
Well,
go.
let me tell you something. When I was on my 75th birthday, I climbed the Eiffel Tower.
There you go.
In an elevator.
No,
You walked?
I climbed it.
Okay,
Literally climbed
so Barbara,
every
you and
step.
I will go out to the stairs and do it. We'll drag the mayor, and
Well,
we'll make an event out of it.
I'm over 10 years older now,
I,
but it's
But
interesting.
the lights are more than just plain lights. As I understand it, it's going to be a river of lights, kind of like a
river of
waterfall.
lights, that's what we're calling it, a river of lights. It's going to look like a waterfall. And the lights we can change the colors of the lights depending on what events we want to feature at the park. But it's again, it's yes, it's decorations, but it's part of doing things first class.
Yeah,
And if I
I've
may,
gotta see those
if I may
stairs.
just jump to parks and then come back to the third major project we're working on, or fourth major project. What we do and what we are doing currently and have done since we became a city is making our parks more inclusive. And by inclusive, we're not only including special needs people, but we're including more seniors. So when I joined the council, and I'm not the only one, but when I joined the council, we looked at our parks and said, wow, I mean, these are nice parks, but a lot of them are not senior friendly. For instance, David R. March Park didn't have a restroom. Okay. Well,
What?
Didn't have a restroom. Okay, so it's not a park if it doesn't have a restroom.
No, you're right.
Okay, so built a restroom just currently. Orchard Village Park was a nice park for the kids, but really wasn't very inclusive friendly, not senior friendly. Well, now we're doing that over on Lyons, and you'll see more benches now for
Yes.
seniors to sit and just
Yes.
enjoy the sunlight and have a little cover so they don't get burned. But basically, just to use the park and have fun and walk in the paseos. So we're doing that with a lot of parks. We just cut ribbon on the North Bridge Park over the north side of Valencia, of the city. And we're just doing a lot with our parks now to build them up, which brings up another major project is we're taking over, round numbers July 1st, William S. Hart Park. That's
That's been a long time coming.
about 170 acres. Yes, it has been a long time
Long
coming.
time.
It's about 170 acres. The county has whether it's their fault or not, I'm not going to blame anybody. But since COVID, the county has kind of been hands off on the park, and the park has, in my opinion, lost a lot of its luster. And so,
Yeah, it's deteriorated.
when we take it over, we are going to put luster back into that park, and we're going to have some wonderful things. There's a short-term plan and a long-term plan. The short-term plan is to clean it up as much as possible, to make it usable, to have some events there. We're actually going to have the Cowboy Festival there this year.
Oh, wonderful.
In April.
Wonderful.
Okay, and we can
that's
talk
not
about
far
that.
away.
Hopefully it's not going to interfere with the Home and Garden Show, which is, in my opinion, the best show we have here in Santa Clarita every year for how many years?
For 15 years now. We've coordinated with the city. So this year, the Cowboy Festival always falls the week before Home and Garden. But this year, we collide with Easter. So we have the Cowboy Festival has been moved 2 weeks earlier to mid-April, Easter Sunday. Then the last weekend in April will be the KHTS Home and Garden Show.
Fantastic. So the fact that we did that, the city did that, is a tribute to you and KHTS and the fact that you've had this wonderful show for so many years. I'm sure we wouldn't have done that for just anybody. So thank you. So let's see. The William S. Hart Park short-term plan, as I said, was to clean it up, make it, a good park, a park where people can go and sit and enjoy and picnic, not worry about parking, not worry about picnicking. We have the mansion up top. Access to the mansion has been extremely limited the last 4 or 5 years. We're going to open the mansion up and make it available.
That is so, I'm so glad to hear you say that.
Absolutely.
Oh, that place needs to be open to the general public because
Yes.
it's a beautiful place. I mean, as old as it is, as long as it's been here, it still needs to be more welcomed
Yes.
by everyone.
And then part of the swap includes the old senior center building as well, which
Yes.
is going to be what?
Good question. So for sure, there's nothing that's absolutely for sure, but for sure, part of that facility, and there are 2 buildings there. It's not just one. There are 2 buildings there, and probably excuse me, an intelligent guess is that the Veterans Collaborative is going to take over the smaller building. The larger building will probably be temporarily for arts, an art gallery, if you will, temporarily. And I say temporarily because the larger plan is to build a first-class art and cultural museum in William S. Hart Park. That's the larger plan. That's going to be a longer term.
Yeah.
I know you have to cut, so.
You're hearing the mayor of Santa Clarita, Bill Miranda, speaking about some of the exciting things in store for us. You're listening to the Senior Hour here on KHTS FM 98.1, AM 1220, and hometownstation.com. We're going to chat with the mayor a little bit more right after this short break.
KHTS, and we're speaking with the mayor of Santa Clarita, Bill Miranda. And what an interesting conversation so far.
Well,
You've
thank
given
you.
us so much information. So
Thank
let's
you.
continue.
Okay, I'll just finish.
Yeah, we're talking about the expansion of Santa Clarita and all that we have to look forward to. You're sitting along with us in Oldtown Newhall, which has come a long way in the 34 years I've been here. And I know you've been a good part of that transition, helping that
42 years
transition
here.
happen. What's in store for Old Town?
Okay, Oldtown Newhall, as you know, is the Main Street in particular is, I don't know how many degrees better than it was when we first came over here. I
It's
mean,
180 degrees better, at least.
It's incredible, and when we light up Main Street, we really light it up. I mean,
it's beautiful.
It's just a wonderful place.
By the way, that's an event for those who have not been to Light Up Main Street every November. That is a wonderful event that the city puts on. They close up the entire street, the entire length, and do a tree lighting ceremony, have plenty of vendors, plenty of stuff for the kids, plenty of stuff for seniors. It is just grown and blossomed into a great event. So put that on your calendar. That'll be coming around in November.
Absolutely. Okay, so Main Street has the Newhall crossings on the corner of Lyons and Main. And in Newhall Crossings, we have some wonderful things, including the Lemley Theater, residence, a five-story residence building. We have McGinn's Irish Pub, which, for people who want to know, is the highest rated pub in all of the United States.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay,
Yes.
by pub users. Right. So
British, Irish, Scottish.
yes, of course. And we have some wonderful restaurants over there also, and a nice courtyard that we use sometimes for dancing and whatever. Okay, so we have that. We obviously have one of the city's best libraries right
Oh,
on
my goodness,
that
yes.
corner also,
Oh, yes.
across Lyons. But as we come down, we are going to get to right next door to you, right next door to the radio station. So between Market and 8th, on the corner of Market and Main Street, where Max Pool Supply has been laboring there for the last 6 years
Oh,
or
good
whatever.
heavens, yes.
They sold, and there's a new project over there in the works, ready for final approval, and I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be approved in the next March to April timeframe. When that gets approved, that'll be a five-story building that will include a courtyard, that will include restaurants, that will have underground parking. And it's right next door to you, so we'll apologize ahead of time for all the noise it's going to cause
Yeah.
and all the disruption, and hopefully you'll get some sort of
We're going to have lots of construction shows on the radio.
There you go.
Yes. So that's going to be in what I call the middle of Main Street, and then at the other end, the southern end of Main Street, by where the circle or rotary, if you're British, would go.
The
or
roundabout.
is roundabout. Thank you. Rotary is American. Roundabout is British. A quick roundabout story. First time I drove in London and I hit a roundabout, I went the wrong way. I went, "Ah." Okay, so that's a confession. Anyway, so that's going to be an even bigger project, because that's going to include a parking structure. Right, smaller than the one on the north end, but that's going to include a parking structure. That's where the golf club building is. A little golf club building is over there, and all of that parking lot is going to become this new development, and that's going to be later in the year. The approvals are going to take a little more time. The design and everything is. We're just getting that now, and we're going to look it over very
Well,
carefully.
I hope it won't ruin the look of the roundabout as it is now. That's what I don't want to see happen.
I
We-
think
Because
it will
that
be.
is-
I think
it's
it will
so-
be a nice bookmark to what's already at the north side of Old Town and Main Street. And don't forget, Barbara. You know, in Mayor Bill, the library was really the cornerstone for the start of the turnaround here.
That was
on Main
huge.
Street. It was huge,
Yes.
a huge project, and
And a lot of people were not in favor of it because the cost was high,
Yes.
especially at that time.
and it started. By the way, you are lucky that TikTok wasn't around the first time you went around the roundabout the wrong way, or I would be merciless right now with that.
Well, I was lucky as that there was no vehicle coming the other way. But let me go on very quickly and finish with development, so we can get into some more meaty things, if you don't mind. The other thing is town center, and people keep asking me, what's going to happen to the mall? What's going to happen to the mall? Well, the mall is going to submit a plan to us. They submitted a preliminary plan, but preliminary plans are just that, very preliminary, and we don't really act on those. But they're working with us to come up with a final plan, if you will, for the town center. That will include a big parking structure, that will include of restructuring construction of how the mall is right now. We don't know exactly how that's going to end up, but what we, the city, want is we want something akin to a real conference center, a sizable hotel with a sizable conference center where we can have sizable events. Right now, we're very limited in our city. 300 is pretty much what we can do for any
For
event.
most, yes, that's very
And
true.
I just went
Unless
to
it's
the
outside.
I just went to the Southern Region Association of Realtors event, and we had to go to Universal City for that event because they had 500-600 people at that event, and we want to keep those things here. And so we're looking for a bigger conference center. Whether we get it or not, we'll see, but we're looking for that. People want Costco. Costco wants Costco. The new mall wants Costco. Everybody wants Costco, so let's cut a deal that works for everybody so that we can get Costco here. Now, I'm already getting emails, what are we going to do? They're going to have gas pumps and all of that. And, well, guess what, fans? Progress happens. Mm-hmm. Progress happens. Otherwise, we'd still be riding in horse-driven carriages on streets that are not paved, and with cleanup having to happen almost every hour on the hour because the horses
Make a mess.
make a mess.
Like
So
they do when they have the parade.
yeah, progress happens. Not everybody is going to be 100% happy with everything that we do as we progress through into the future. So apologies for whatever inconveniences might be caused, but you got to understand that progress happens. So town center plan should be coming to us in about a month or two at the most, and based on that, we will go from there. Again, that's not something that's going to be built in 2 years. That's going to be a longer term project. So we touched, I'm going to switch real quickly to the Veterans Collaborative, because I touched on that very briefly. I just said, the Veterans Collaborative are going to be in that one building.
And I want to stop you for 1 second, because
Sure.
you're a veteran as well, even though
I am.
you're a veteran from the wrong branch. But
Now, what does that mean?
I got to tell you, as insulting as that was, it's not as bad as what I got from a Marine who introduced me at a veterans event, and he said, Bill Miranda was almost in the military. He was in the Air Force.
Almost in the military.
and I have to reveal, we've teased each other for a long time because my son was at
West Pointer.
West Pointer, and,
Yeah.
and you being the Air Force, we decided to have a go at it for a couple of decades.
Yeah. So we're hoping that the veterans, and our community is very, very pro-veteran.
Oh, absolutely.
We are more so than the great majority of other communities out there. I mean, we could put up a statue for our veterans and say, see, we're pro-veterans, but we do more than that. We have a whole veterans historic park. We have a wall with the names of every Santa Clarita veteran who died in action. We have, and in that park, that historic park, which is walking distance from where we are right now, you can walk through and see the history of the military, from the Revolutionary War to the Civil War, the war with the Native Americans, World War I, World War II, Vietnam War. Okay, and probably we'll do something, if we haven't already, for the veterans of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. Uh, but in addition to that, we support financially, emotionally, with resources, veterans organizations. We help them help veterans because veterans need our help. The PTSD is a real thing. It's not something that goes away. If you've been in combat, and I haven't, I'll confess, I have not been in combat, but I've been up there going at the speed of sound, looking at my radar scope and seeing some enemy, what could be enemy planes out there. It scares the heck out of you. Okay, so, but if you've been in combat, the noise of combat, the bloodiness of combat, you will never, ever, ever fully recover from that. Okay, you can treat it, you can contain it, you can keep yourself from exploding, hopefully, but you're going to need help along the way. You're going to need medical help, you're going to need mental help, and you're going to need the help of not only your family and friends, but of society at large. And so we want to provide that help to our veterans as much as possible.
That's critical. It really is. Because my husband was in the Korean War, and he never, ever spoke about it. Ever. It just, he had PTSD also. He had COPD, you name it. But that was something he never opened his mouth about. Just no.
He was probably
say a
afraid
word.
that it would trigger something if he did.
Yeah, I think that's true because I've been hearing about that happening to a lot of veterans in this valley, and it's not a very pleasant thing. But I know what you're saying, that most veterans really don't want to talk about it because it's too imploding.
Yeah. So I do want to give a shout out to an organization that helps veterans, but also helps all first responders, and that's Guardians.
Yes.
The Guardians organization here in Santa Clarita is really a strong organization. They meet weekly. So if anyone knows of anyone that's suffering from PTSD or that just needs someone to talk to, a hand to hold, a story to tell, a story to hear, the Guardians organization, which meets at Higher Vision Church, I think it's every Tuesday or Monday, I forget which, but you can just go to guardians.com, I believe. If not, just check with the radio station. They'll lead you.
We've had them on here.
Okay, good.
Oh yes.
Yeah, they're
They're
a fantastic
regular.
group, and
Yes.
of course we co-do the 9/11 event with them every year.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is an important event and a powerful event. Sliding over Mayor Bill Miranda to another subject, and we talked about all the growth and the positive side of growth. The negative side of growth, of course, is additional traffic, but also crime. And the city's done a really good job of stopping crime, being proactive about crime right from the start. Maybe you could address that a little bit.
Okay. We're a large city. We seem like a small city, and that's a good thing. A small town, that's a good thing. We're all very friendly and enjoy each other's company, that kind of thing. Help each other out as much as possible. We have a lot of nonprofits. We got people running the nonprofits, people supporting the nonprofits. But specifically dealing with crime, the reason I say we're a large city, and by the way, we're the third largest city in LA County, we're the 17th largest city in the state of California, and we're the 97th largest city in population in the country. So, flash to the world, when you're that big, when this valley, not just the city, but the valley is approaching 300,000 people, you're going to have crime, and you're going to have crime every day. And unfortunately, you as a radio station, the Signal as a newspaper, has to report it. And so we hear every day about crime going on in our city, and in a way, it's scary to a lot of people. And we do have some areas where there's more crime than others. We have the Sheriff's Department really working with gangs to try and limit their ability to influence the community. And we have some other organizations that are working. I just had a meeting with a world boxing champion, and I think you guys met with him also, Fernando Guerrero, who was a middleweight boxing champion, who is working with kids, has a boxing gym here in the city, and is working to help kids stay out of crime, stay away from the gangs.
Yeah, the city has been very proactive about it, and we can devote an entire show to that. But right now we're going to take a short break. We're talking with our mayor, Bill Miranda, here on KHTS FM 98.1, AM 1220, your hometown station.
KHTS. And we're speaking with Mayor Bill Miranda. And let's go from, we talked crime a little bit. Let's get into drugs.
Let's do that.
Let's do it.
Okay, so like every other big city in the country, we have a drug problem. And we do, thank goodness for Captain Diaz and his deputies, but also for other organizations that are really helping us. Action is a wonderful organization that helps keep people off drugs, and those who are on drugs helps them
Well,
become
the owner
clean.
was on drugs for a long time himself.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And so we also have a church right here, right 100 feet from here, Elevate Church, that does a lot with the local community to try and keep them off drugs. But drugs is a major problem. So we had a program, and to my knowledge, we still have a program, Drug Free Youth, and we're trying to reach out to the schools and get to children at an early age as early as possible. So we're doing things, but it's never enough. There's just a culture in the country that's forgiving of drug use, unfortunately.
And we're dealing with a national issue that
It's a national issue.
you can't block out of Santa Clarita.
Yeah.
But it takes the community. It takes the parents, takes the schools, it takes the city, and everybody has to be proactive.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to say is there's a large concern with fentanyl. Fentanyl is a killer. It's an instant killer, and I would venture to guess a significant percentage of people who die of fentanyl don't even know they took fentanyl. And that's strange, okay? So it can be put in a lot of places, not just other drugs, but just be aware and get knowledge. And again, Action is a good place to go. They've done a lot to try and educate the community. And as a parent, I would certainly go there and get some more information.
We're talking with Mayor Bill Miranda, and I want to touch on one other subject right now that's impacted all of us, and that's inflation. And I know when you were driving the wrong way down that roundabout, the gas in your car was a fraction of what it is now to fill up. Inflation, of course, is a national issue, but that's impacted all of us. How has that impacted the city budget?
Okay, so the city is very conservative in its finances. And sometimes I would say extremely conservative, because there are some things I feel we should spend money on, and basically we don't. But that's neither here nor there. Inflation affects us with the sense that a lot of people are losing their jobs because of inflation. A lot of companies are going under because of inflation, because people can't afford to buy products and services at the rate that they were buying before. So if you went out to dinner with your family once a week, you're now doing it once every other week, or maybe once a month. And so restaurants are being hurt by that.
Oh, you aren't kidding.
Purchases. You want to buy furniture, you want to buy clothing or anything else, you're cutting back. So everybody's cutting back because everything's costing so much. And because of that, the city has got to look at that, look ahead and say, maybe, just maybe, we're not going to bring the revenue that we brought last year. And if we don't, what are we going to do? How are we going to adjust? Well, we have a number of temporary employees that we can use them, and I hate to use the term use them, but we can have them as kind of an accordion. So if the
Having them
economy's,
available.
yeah, if the economy's going strong, we'll have 100, 200 temporary workers. If the economy gets weak, we'll back it off to maybe 100 or 50 workers. So inflation impacts the city as it does the personal budgets. I can only say that we are very strong fiscally conservative, and we keep a 20% reserve of our operating budget, and we feel very strong.
Yeah, having watched the city since 1987 work through their money and budgets, fiscally they've been great through all the various different ups and downs. This has been the Senior Hour, Mayor Bill. Thank you so
for
much
having
for
me.
joining us.
Oh,
Barbara
it was
Cochran, Carl Goldman
wonderful.
with you here on your hometown station, KHTS FM 98.1, AM 1220, your hometown station.